Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. Today I want to make a quick video for you guys as I take my ride home. So you guys know I'm a commuter. I do a lot of driving, and yeah, so just so you know, if you hear some loud noise or like a sound in the background, just know I'm on the highway. Please forgive me for that. I hope it's clear enough for you guys to understand the information I'm presenting to you today. So first and foremost, I want to just let you guys know that this video is going to be about the Cancer energy. I wanted to give shed truth and shed light on the overprotective energy of the Cancer, and I want to help people to make sense of it when you put it into perspective and evaluating it in your chart. So whether it be your personal planet, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, Mercury, yeah, those are the personal planets, right? Generational planets are affected with the Cancer energy a little bit different, which are the Saturn, the Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune energies. Those are external, so they affect the generation, right? But then when we talk about the houses, the Cancer on the specific house that you have is very important to know what energy, that is playing out, where the Cancer and overprotective energy is playing out in what area of life. And last but not least is the energy of Cancer and how it might be playing out as the moon energy in your chart. So your moon is your emotional energy, and so whatever sign your moon is, it could be affected, but it's not as much as the emphasis when it comes to your personal planets and your houses. Okay, so I want to let's break down the archetype of Cancer. First and foremost, we know that it is cardinal water, right? Cardinal is the one that initiates. So let's break this down. Let's truly compartmentalize this and characterize and categorize this. When you understand what cardinal energy is, it's the one that is the starter, right? So it initiates it brings forth the new energy. It builds based on its own inspiration, its own feeling for Cancer, right? So it really is not fixed, where it's very stubborn and stable in its original thought. It's constant change. So the change in itself is based on the mood, environment, and emotional state of being, so that it initiates its choice. It's like it goes off of its own choice, right? So that's very important to know when we're talking about the archetype of Cancer and why it creates these overprotective energies. Okay, so once we understand that, another very key word for Cancer is memory. Okay, so memories are what the Cancer energy is very in tune and tapped into, aware of. It's aware of the memories that are associated from early childhood experiences. Okay, so the reason why the dark energy or the more negative traits, are for better or for worse when it comes to Cancer energy, will play out as overprotective, right? For better or for worse, are based off the memories that created this hardening effect, this shell, right, that the Cancer person kind of puts up. It plays out different for each of the planets in the way in which the Cancer energy will be protective, right? It's going to look different if it's your moon in Cancer versus it being your Mars in Cancer. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that Cancer energy is very nurturing, supportive, but it is very cutthroat. The energy of Cancer is not weakness at all. People think that it's weakness and or sensitivity and all of these things, and at a degree it can be when it's not thorough or mature, right? When it's still growing and elevating, or like from the start, initially the Cancer energy is very innocent. Okay, it doesn't understand heartbreak, pain. It just looks for the nurturing effects of things. And this is where it shares a kind of similar energy of its opposite cardinal Earth, Capricorn, where the Cancer will be more prone to attracting things of stability and comfort, right? That's what Capricorn energy is. They have that similarity where they attract things that are structured. So there's the same type of energy that Cancer brings forth with the structure, but it's more comfort, and it deals with the needs being met. Needs, right? So this was why Cancer energy focuses on their needs being met based on the memories that they have had in the past that create their identity and self-awareness, in which they initiate the way that they feel about something. So they associate their emotional state of being based on their needs that they need from past experiences that showed them what works and what doesn't. And that's why I say Cancer energy is very stable, and it could be positive. It could be very supportive. Everyone knows, like, my great aunt that raised me, I lived with her like she was my mother. She was a Cancer. She did not play. She really valued her material objects. They brought her comfort in, and she needed stability. She needed herself. So she was very independent. A lot of people don't know that, but Cancers could be very independent, because it becomes a need. It's all based on whatever life gave them. So it looks different because there's that nature versus nurture, right? So there's the nature, which is the archetype of the zodiac signs that are in your chart. And then there's the nurture, where is the experiences and the lifestyle and the life that you're born into based on your family, race, class, right? Status, the financial wealth or poverty that one has when they're born in. All of these shape and mold the Cancer, and they bring forth a retrospect energy, where they're always reflecting. They're always going down memory lane, associating how they are going to initiate new feelings based on the past experiences, and they see what works for them and what doesn't. Now, a negative cycle of Cancer, which creates the overprotective energy, it could be for better, for worse. They could overprotect aspects of themselves that they need to be met based on memories that were not so kind, right? Or anything that was a traumatic experience for a Cancer, they will associate a need so that they can experience the opposite, even if it's to their own detriment. I will put that in perspective, okay? When I move through the sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and that's it, right? We're only going to focus on the tools, and then I might briefly, attach it to the houses. But overall, when we're talking about the Cancer energy, the need is what drives the Cancer to, really harden their shell. So anything going against their needs, they're going to attack, and they're very slow to making a decision and really agreeing to anything, because they are moving, they're sideways moving, right? They don't just attack things head on forward, and really, when you pay attention to a Cancer sun, male or female, they literally walk sideways. I swear, my son is a Cancer. They literally, like, he always walks in the kitchen sideways and kind of eases in on me to, see how I'm feeling, to initiate the way he's going to respond to me. So they're really reaction based people. If you think of action being the sun and reaction being the moon, reaction is dealing with the Cancer energy off top, because the moon is a reactive, it's based off it's an effect from causes, right? So this is why they're always initiating their way of feeling, because they're going off the currents, they're going off the moods of others, they're going off the energies of the room, they're going off of preconceived notions, they're going off, I could go on and on, they're going off what's already there. So they're always initiating how they feel as a protective barrier over themselves, right? So they always initiate their needs being met based on the experiences that they've had, right? The memories that create them to be their own worst enemy or their own best friend, right? But overall, it's all in an act of being protective. They're always trying to protect their feelings. Now, the dangerous ones are the ones who do negative self-fulfilling prophecies, right? They live in a pitiful pit of misery because they want to prove why their emotional low state of being is right? They're always trying to initiate a feeling on things based off, recreating the traumas and proving to themselves that they knew they were right through, allowing those perpetual states of negative experiences to continue to happen. So they might continue to show themselves that they were right by dealing with a person that's, beating their ass or going upside their head or disrespectful or talking to them crazy. Like, they'll prove and show themselves like, this is what I mean. This, see what I mean? I knew this was going to happen. Well, yeah, that's because they do things. They're kind of creatures of habit. They do things to like confirm to themselves that what they're feeling are right, so that they could continue to initiate the way they feel. So that's a negative trait of a Cancer. They will continue to recreate havoc in their life just to initiate why they feel the way they feel and just to validate their feelings, right? To initiate that constant negative state of being, which could be fear-based or guilty. Like, you could guilt trip the hell out of Cancer energy. You could really control Cancer energy with fear, right? Because they are so loving, nurturing, and attached to things, but sometimes they can be their own worst enemy because they want to prove to themselves why they're right about something, so they can keep initiating this set in their ways kind of energy. They could be very stubborn, set in their ways based off of, self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So, like, let's say it's a negative, toxic Cancer energy in a man, whether it be the Mars, Moon, whatever, and their dominant state of thought is women are all liars and manipulating, So what they'll do is they'll always initiate they'll always focus on person's actions that initiate their feeling of right, justification, like, yep, I knew that. Like, they'll set up a situation not realizing they'll come into the room with a mood that will make you act a certain way with them, and then be like, I knew you were going to act like this. This is why I'm saying. This is why I am the way I am. Like, they do things not realizing that they could create their own problems in their life. So this plays out a lot different for everybody, right? When it's the sun, the Cancer energy is always going to initiate their way of feeling and being consistently. Like, they're going to operate it, and people are going to see this because it's a part of their soul. Remember, the sun is the soul. It is the drive in us that is the natural state of being that is consistent, okay? So the sun energy being in Cancer is going to be a person who is always initiating new ways to feel based on the environment. Everything in their external environment will affect the way they move, like a crab, right? They're the little crab on the beach, moving around based on the feeling of the external environment, whether it be a safe environment or dangerous, whatever environment they're in there, or any challenging threats to them. They'll just harden that shell. So these people, over time, you'll see that they're always initiating this very hardcore exterior, and they're very protective of their beliefs and the way that they do things. They're always overprotective of, the way they run their house or the way they wash their clothes. Every little thing they do is going to be, this is the way I do it. Like, when you don't do it, they just add so much. They initiate so much thought behind the reason in which they are doing things the way they are doing it. And it's always triggered from either how they were taught and raised, because remember, it goes with the nostalgia of the early childhood experiences. So they really stick to their roots and tradition with things, and they protect those customs and those way of life with their life, right? Because they are very protective of their beliefs. So, you'll see this. These are very moody people because of that. Moon is going to be a little different. They could operate a lot of their emotions based on fears that that happen to them through the traumas in their life. A Cancer Moon person, you won't see it because you'll see their sun more, but emotionally they really will set their whole life to protect themselves from that same negative experiencing happening again, even if it's at the cost of their own happiness, because they're operating out of fear. So they're so afraid to work to get in a relationship again that's real, because they maybe, had a heartbreak that scorned them, right? So they're always protecting that against, being overprotective and always initiating like the way they feel, or they always want to be super independent, don't want to, emotion is hidden. So, they're not gonna, you don't see this initially. They're just really like, you'll know if you have a Cancer moon person around you, which I'm a Cancer moon, they operate in a very specific way. If you watch them long enough, you'll see their pattern and how they move sideways, then forward, then to the other side, left, right, backwards. They don't move straight across, because they always have to cross their T's and dot their I's. They have to feel like they're making the best decision based on the external situation. Like, so if it's a threat to a Cancer moon stability, their emotional side, the moon side, is going to be extremely calculated when they do things. Like, and you think they're being moody with you and just cutting you off, but really they're just trying to make sure that they keep whatever it is they need as far as their stability and order. They're not going to put that at risk for anything, okay? Anything that brought forth trauma. If they were homeless, if they were left, abandonment issues, they're going to create these scenarios where they protect these things with their life in a very you can't really track it or really notice it, because it is their moon. You don't see it. And the way that they move is so unorthodox, right? They don't move directly. They're not going to tell you directly, like, I don't like the way you do this because they're going to be like, they're going to be here one minute, disappear the next. And be like, what happened in Cancer? Where is Cancer? Cancer is gone, because Cancer has sensed a long time ago that they are going to ease out of your life. So Cancers don't make no mistakes. Trust and believe me, they're smarter than what they give off. And if it's the Mercury, then their mind is very, they're overprotective of their beliefs and thoughts in a way that they are thinking about things. They're always going to protect it with their life. You can't really change the way in which they're thinking and the way that they create their ideas, in the way they're going to go about anything, or the way that they study and research, the way that they connect intellectually with others. They see what works for them, and what doesn't work they try to avoid, because they hate pain. Anything that brings forth that painful feeling, they will either be negative, where they recreate it for themselves just to validate themselves, right? Like, they'll set a situation up where they bring up something they know going to cause an argument, just to prove that it was going to cause an argument, because they want to initiate how they feel. So they're always in a protective mode, but they could be at their own detriment, and then that's Mercury Cancer. But Venus in Cancer is always anything that it comes to, like the things that they like, the things that bring them comfort, right? Whether it be food, whether it be a relationship, whether it be certain material things that they have and value, possessions. They're going to be very controlling over it. They're not going to want other people. They're not going to want to share it with other people. They're going to want to be, or they'll share it with other people too much. They're always just giving, until that creates a trauma where people don't respect their things or what they value, right? Even if it's their heart, when people don't value their heart. And then they'll recreate these situations just to prove to themselves that they're right? Because they're always initiating how they feel like. And so if you're doing things different, let's say you're really trying to work on a relationship with a Venus and Cancer person, and they don't want to believe it, they're so set in their way of thinking about what the love is, that once you start doing real changes, they're going to do anything in their power to set up a scenario where they prove to themselves that they're right about how they feel with you, right? They're like, no, you're trying to do all this, but you already showed me that that you are toxic and you're disrespectful, and they know how to get people mad. They know how to press people's buttons, because they just want to show themselves that they're right. That's more negative, but like a more positive, it could look different. They could be very, overprotective of their things and really take care of it, but hoard it. Venus and Cancer people could be the biggest hoarders of all time, right? Anything physical and non-physical, love, they could be a hoarder of memories, things that do not matter. They keep recycling these things in their mind that don't matter. Same thing with the Mercury too. They could keep memories that need to clear out and make space, right? And then Mars, like last but not least, is Mars energy. When it's the Mars energy, Cancer, Mars, it don't even like being in Cancer. It is at a detriment because it takes forth, you have to take action. And Cancers move very unorthodox. So they're not making straightforward decisions. They don't have the drive to focus on one thing. If their moods switch and change, are going to go with that flow. So it's hard for them to really accomplish things and execute them from beginning to end, because they're always in a constant change of emotion, shift of emotion. So any threat to what they're driven towards will create this emotional proving of, they need to prove that they're right? So they need people to be their opposition. They need an enemy. They need somebody bringing them down just so they can be like, I knew that you wouldn't believe in me. Watch, I'm going to do it. They need that push they need a negative push from an external factor just to prove to themselves that they could do something, because without that, they'll just be sitting around making decisions based off how they feel in that moment. Cancer's moods are ever changing because environments are ever changing, right? The only thing certain in life is death and change. So the more that things are changing externally, the more their drive and willpower towards a certain goal and focus is changing. So they're going to always be swayed with the currents and mood, and it's hard for them to focus unless somebody is the culprit or the evil on the opposite end that makes them driven to walk sideways with a firm walk and just attack what they want, protect what they want and show you like, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to initiate it. It deals with that, okay? So overall, I just want to let people know that the overprotective energy is based on an instinct. It's on a reaction based energy. It's feminine, so it goes within. It creates a reason to feel like to react to things, because it's always focusing on the external stimuli, right? The stimulus, the stimulation externally, whether it be people, places, environments, things that they like. It will affect the way that the person is feeling and operating, which is going to in turn initiate them to be in their protective mode. So everything, they're always like, Cancer people are hardened over time. They're hard crabs, okay? Hard ass shells, and they don't budge. And they can initiate the way they feel about something immediately. If they sense something as a threat for them, they're going to immediately sense it from a mile away. Oh, I see how you coming. So by the time you come, they got their claws in the air and they shell so hard, they're ready to flee and run the other way in a way you don't even know which way they're running, or they're ready to fucking attack. And it's because they're going to initiate how they feel based on what they sense is coming. Okay? They're always in that mode. So yeah, that is the truth about the overprotective Cancer and why the Cancer is that way. And once we understand the archetype of these energies, we'll truly be able to, accurately define it and see it and sense it when we're reading charts and when we're understanding the natures of the current times, right? When we're in Cancer season, which is the summertime, we need to expect these kind of situations. Or if we have Cancer in our chart, we need to expect, this is why we're acting this way. If you sense that it's an aspect of you that feels weak, but it's not weak, it's just very overprotective, and then it's emotional, and then you may have created all these fears around why you will never do something, and then it could limit you from having new experiences or having experience because you feel like it might go the way it went before. before, right? So they're always protecting themselves from old trauma, old pain, because they, one memory. Shame me one time, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't, because fool me once, it can't be fooled again. Like that first time is everything for Cancer. Then that's gonna go in their memory bank. So they keep a memory bank like their opposite. Capricorn keeps compartmentalization, whereas the Capricorn will put things in little boxes and associate people with, oh, you're an associate, you're somebody I could call for this, or you're an enemy, you're opposition. Like, they're really very big on categorizing things, right? That's how they do things. And but the Cancer, they store things in a memory bank, and it could get convoluted, it could be mixed up, because it is water. So they can have these mixed emotions sometimes in the feeling of things that aren't even associated with what's happening, the reality of situation. That's where they learn from their counterpart Capricorn, because reality will show you that you're just overreacting, you're over emotional, you're trying to initiate a way to feel based on old shit that has nothing to do with this current situation. Get out of your feelings and move on. And once a Cancer is able to master that, and tap into their opposite energy, they will be a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful for you. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Do you have Cancer in your houses? Oh, everyone does, but what house is your Cancer? How do you see it playing out? Do you have your planets, personal planets, in Cancer? How does that play out for you? Can you see the way you may be causing your own problems in your life based off the overprotective fears based from root trauma memories that haven't healed? Are you lost in your fantasy of emotion that affects your mood swings? Or, have you grounded yourself to be able to see the reality of things and associate accurate emotions to things? I could go on and on, but let me know what you guys think below. Thank you so much for tuning in to Universal Love Law. Peace.